Saturday Sport with Chris Gorham on BBC Radio Norfolk.
It's 30 years this week since Norwich City won at Wembley. They took the Milk Cup, beating Sunderland 1-0 in the final in 1985. It's a day that has lived long in the memory of Norwich City fans, and as the 30th anniversary approached, we've been talking about it here on BBC Radio Norfolk, and such has been the warmth of response, some of the great stories that have been shared with us from the fans who were there that day and from those who followed it from afar. It would have been wrong to let this opportunity pass without indulging in a bit of nostalgia and a bit of memories of what was a wonderful day in Norwich City Football Club's history. So let's bring you now the way it was covered on the day on BBC Radio Norfolk. The great Roy Waller was joined in the Wembley commentary box by Keith Skipper and the former Canaries manager John Bond. I'll let them talk you through the day, starting with Keith Skipper.
On the Ball City, the proud battle hymn of Norwich and their followers, and how it rang out at Wembley on Sunday, March the 24th, 1985. The Milk Cup final, predictably labelled unfashionable by much of the national media, just little old Norwich City and Sunderland having a day out, but how they turned out in their thousands to descend on the capital. From the northeast, a grey depressed area with closed factories and long dole queues, and from Norfolk, much more fertile, but so often dismissed as simply flat and uninteresting. Stark contrasts, but how those fans came together in a common cause to put a smile back on football's face. A memorable mixture of red and white and yellow and green. A giant rosette, a rainbow to show that following the game can be fun and friendly. Yes, it was the friendly final. Fans of all ages swapping souvenirs after the match. Spontaneous gestures of comradeship. A day to be remembered as much for the support as the skills on the pitch. Let's go back to a few minutes before the kick-off in front of a capacity crowd. Just imagine all the tension building up as Ken Brown and Len Ashurst wait to lead out the teams.
The roar goes up from all around this ground as we await the two teams coming from that tunnel away to our left under the electronic scoreboard, and of course this will be a very proud moment indeed for Ken Brown as he leads that Norwich City team out here this afternoon. It's still very overcast here at Wembley. We've been entertained by the band out there on that turf. We've had parachuters coming in. One unfortunately landed on the roof, and the two teams just now waiting for the signal to come onto the pitch, and they're now making their way towards the tunnel, and I'm sure that you'll hear the great roar as these two teams emerge into this magnificent arena. Listen to the crowd noise building up now, Keith.
Yes, here they come out, and Ken Brown with his marvellous yellow carnation leading so proudly the yellow and green of Norwich City, their third Wembley appearance. It is a wonderful moment for any manager, the pinnacle of their career.
The two teams now emerge to the front of that tunnel. They're being led out there by the respective managers for Norwich City, of course, Ken Brown and Len Ashurst, as they now emerge from that tunnel. And of course, the one or two sad faces of the Norwich City players who didn't get into the side. And there they come. Listen to that great roar from both sets of supporters as they now emerge into this tremendous stadium. The atmosphere absolutely electric here at Wembley as the two teams come across onto the onto the playing area, just onto the edge of the hallowed turf here at Wembley, and now making their way towards the Royal Box, which is down in front of us, to be presented to Sir Stanley Rouse.
A marvellous moment, John, when you lead the team out and milk the applause and soak it all up.
Marvellous. This is really what they've been playing for all season. It's really a magnificent thing to happen to all footballers, and they will cherish this for the rest of their life.
Even my old Norfolk heart melts when you hear that applause as they come out, and a marvellous daffodil-coloured yellow and green array away to our right. I can still see my old parochial mind ticking over the Hobbies flag from Dereham proudly up there, because they've reached the cup final of their own in the FA Sunday Cup. And I think the team is now about to be presented to Sir Stanley Rouse as he will trip down this marvellous red carpet from the Royal Box, where we had a little look round this morning and pretended that we belonged to the Nobs Elite. Isn't that right, Mr. Waller?
Yes, indeed, as the two teams line up and the players just waving to their relatives and friends in this main stand. Down below me, the sight of Mel Machin, the Norwich City coach, with his hat on, always wears this for match days. I can also see Dale Gordon, Greg Downs, Tim Shepherd, the physiotherapist there as well, along with the club doctor and of course one or two others connected with the club. And a little bit sad, as I say, for the players who didn't make that team, but most certainly they're enjoying the day, and I think the atmosphere just speaks for itself. Greg Downs, in fact, came onto the pitch just before this presentation, and he got a tremendous round of applause. And there is, in fact, the site of the presentation now, Keith.
Yes, the Stanley Rouse being taken round after being greeted by Dave Watson, talking to John Dean. Chris Woods, who came out with Greg Downs about half an hour before the kick-off, and having a quiet words to Stanley, who of course knows the Norfolk area well. Mark Barham done so well to come back after injury. Peter Mendham, a smile and a nod. Louis Donovan, and let's hope he can turn it on today. Paul Haylock, what a wonderful birthday present for him. Dennis Van Wyk, don't know if he had any language problems at Wembley. I shouldn't think so. John Devine, the substitute. Asa Hartford, who's had that treatment during the week. And there he is, as garrulous and as chatty as ever, with a broad smile. Yes, the grand old man of football as far as Garrul's concerned. That's Mike Shannon. And of course, a more earnest approach from Sir Stanley as he shakes hands with another man who never has a smile far from his face. That, of course, is Ken Brown, the Norwich City manager.
With the fans' voices reaching a crescendo, time to get on with the Wembley action.
Right, so now we're ready to start the 1985 Milk Cup final as the referee just counts round the players. The roar comes up from both sets supporters. Everything to play for in this afternoon's final. And there the Sunderland players kick off, and the ball immediately goes out to the Sunderland left, high in the air. The head's good up, comes to Donovan though. Donovan gets his first early touch, pushes that ball wide. The ball comes down the right for Shannon. He took a tumble, but it's in fact Sunderland in possession with Walker. He lays that ball off nicely. Going to be a first time shot. Oh, it just over the top of the bar. That was a cracker. The ball came in from Dave Hodgson. He's hit a first time snapshot. Chris Woods looked quite a bit off his line, and the ball was luckily for Norwich over the top of that Norwich bar. Norwich moving sweetly forward as it's Byron in possession. Plays that ball, a lovely ball out to the left to find Dean. Dean in possession, halfway inside that Sunderland half. Comes inside, gets it on his right foot, comes across, still looking for a Norwich player to play it to. He finds Donovan. Donovan in the outside right position now. Comes forward, two men. Will he cross that ball first time? In comes Shannon, gets the header forward. There's Mendham there as well, trying to measure his shot, but it comes a header, it is over the top. Well, that was a very good effort indeed, eventually from John Dean. Norwich certainly posing all sorts of problems so far.
23 minutes gone, and it's significant that we've probably mentioned in glowing terms virtually every Norwich player out there on the park this afternoon. They certainly are putting together a team effort, and I think that's significant at this stage, John Bond.
I think it's a credit to the coaching and to the management of Norwich City. They, as I said, they all look as if they know what they're expected to do. They all know what each other are doing, and at this moment in time look a very, very useful out.
The ball comes through loose to Barham. Barham got a turn to the shot. It comes to Dean. He shoots. It's off the line. The ball cleared away as he got that shot in. And my word, pressure coming in there. First Barham had the chance, and then John Dean. And the ball cleared away with Chris Turner absolutely beaten. Tackle comes in there by Norwich, and the ball in possession for Haylock. Haylock out to Asa Hartford. The Norwich fans roaring on their team now as it's Hartford in possession. Comes inside, plays that ball forward. It comes to Shannon. Shannon comes in the air. He shoots and Turner saves. All pressure coming in from Norwich, but certainly two chances there, Keith.
Yes, hectic moments around Turner's goal mouth there. Nice piece of work again from Dean, because Shannon thought his luck was in at that particular moment. Good goalkeeping in the final analysis, but certainly pressure from Norwich.
The half-time whistle goes there with no score in this match, but certainly evidence that Norwich City perhaps dominated, I would say, that first half, and certainly if it was a question of giving points away, well, I think they would have come out on top.
Yes, the Canaries well in control, but nothing yet to show for all their drive and ambition. But how dramatically that Wembley picture was to change.
Corner goes to, in fact, the corner, and the ball flicked on nicely there by John Dean. Can he put the ball back? He does to come to Shannon. Can't get a shot in. Shot comes in for Hartford. Goal! Hartford scores! He hit the ball first time. Certainly the Sunderland goalkeeper Chris Turner completely unsighted, and the ball in the back of the net to give Norwich 1, Sunderland 0. Listen to the Norwich City fans giving the roar now.
Sweetly taken by the man struggling for fitness throughout the week. My goodness, we were pointing to him as an inspiration in the first half. He swatted that away beautifully.
John.
Well, I think Dean deserves an awful lot of credit for that. He battled away for the ball down in the corner flag. the boy was waiting to let the thing go out. He fought and won it, and then tucked a little ball into Shannon. He had a little bit of good fortune, Asa, but after saying all of that, it was a magic little goal, and I think all the credit in the world to Norwich, to Dean, and for Asa, the way he took the goal.
Norwich now certainly very much on top as they push the long ball back to Chris Woods in the Norwich goal.
Yes, I think Chisholm has been credited with the deflection, although I think Hartford must really take the overall credit, but it may go down as a Chisholm OG.
Dean now coming forward, lays that ball to Shannon, back to Dean, the ball comes loose, first time shot from Barnes, just over the top. Well, they're certainly snapping at everything out there, John, now, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are putting it together now. I mean, they've taken it on from where they left off in the first half, and really it's very difficult to see where Sunderland are going to get back into this game if they don't play better than what they are at this moment. And certainly if Norwich keep going the way they are, they'll certainly finish up winners.
Bennett plays that ball forward for the free kick. The flick on comes off Watson though to Barham. Barham, the first time ball to Dean. Dean takes it nicely, goes on the outside, but Chisholm comes across and plays it back to Bennett. Bennett, and of course, is a sweeper this afternoon as he's in possession. Plays that ball forward, looking for Hodgson. A nice flick out this time to the right. There's a lot of space there as across comes Van Wyk and asks for a penalty given. Well, complete drama here now. My word, the Sunderland fans absolutely delirious over the far side with that. And that looked as though, in fact, Van Wyk scooped that ball away. We're just having a look at the replay, in fact, as the ball came back. Yes, he did. He scooped that ball with his right hand, and that's going to be a penalty to Sunderland.
Not much doubt about that when you get the advantage of looking on a replay camera. Of course, let's be honest, referees and linesmen don't have such facilities out there, so we must applaud them for being right on the spot and getting what looks like a very straightforward decision.
Steve Bruce having a word with the Chris Woods about which way that ball is going to be going from Clive Walker, who's going to take the penalty for Sunderland. Well,
I bet they can't believe the luck, Sunderland. They'd lost possession of that ball almost, and to get a little lucky break like this, if they get a goal here, they really will think they're lucky. This is a lucky day.
Sunderland with the penalty. It's going to be Walker to take it for Sunderland. He comes up with his left foot, he shoots, and he goes wide! It goes wide! Did it take a deflection? It didn't, and it goes wide. Well, I'm sure that Clive Walker will be absolutely disappointed with that, but the Norwich fans away to my right are not.
Penalties are easily missed. Everybody think that they're easy to score from, but there's a lot of pressure on players on these occasions, and there was certainly a lot of pressure on Walker. It wasn't the best penalty in the world, that's for sure, and he'll be terribly disappointed he missed that.
There's a nice flick off for Shannon, finds Barham. Barham in a lot of space going forward. He's going to get a shot, and he does, and it just goes wide. Well, it was a lovely flick on with Mick Shannon. He found Mark Barham in full flow. He snapped the shot in, and it just went wide. But again, evidence, Keith, there that Norwich City are quite prepared to come forward and not rest on that one goal lead.
That's the best way of making sure you keep that one goal lead, is to try and add to it, isn't it? In the shades of a couple of years ago there from Mark Barham before his cruel injury. On the run, exciting player, and not a bad shot at the end of it.
Shannon gets the nod on. That's a good ball for Mendham. Mendham had to play that ball first time. He does, and it's beautifully in the path of Donowa. Donowa going forward now. He comes in with a lovely tackle, but still Donovan's in possession. He flutes that one across. Dean comes in, but the ball goes out for a corner.
A really good old-fashioned run, and how lovely to see the boy Donowa getting stuck in and sticking to his job, and Dean only inches away from clinching this World Cup final, because that was a brave header, but a lovely run by Donowa. He rode the tackle. He believed he was still going to win it, and we've seen so many times this season when he's given up on the 50-50 situation.
To Norris, and Hartford is there. He sends Barham away. That's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. Again, he's got Mick Shannon at the near post. Bruce is there as well. The ball comes in comes Bruce with a header, and it's just over the top. Well, so often we see Steve Bruce cruise in on the blind side. He did so, then bruise up, but the header, unfortunately, not very well directed and over the top, but a good effort.
Yes, shades of Ipswich in the semi-finals there, wasn't it? He came powering in, and my goodness, he's so enthusiastic and strong. It's directed energy, isn't it? He really believes he's going to do something positive with the ball every time he goes up for it.
The ball high in the air, up to the head. Steen wins it, but comes out to the far side, and that's going to be kept in play, in fact, and Haylock just prods it forward again, looking for Donovan. He gets the flick on it, finds Dean in a bit of space. Dean plays that ball across, a beautiful one. He shoots, it's over the top. What a brilliant effort that was. Dean saw Barham coasting in on the left. Barham hit it first time on the volley and just inches over the Sunderland bar.
And what a picture finish that would have been, the real cream on the top of the milk cup for the Canaries, because that was an inspired move. He saw him, and that was a lovely effort by Barham, and my goodness, it wasn't far over the top of the bar.
It's Sunderland on the attack. Gale comes in, the tackle comes in. Still Gale in possession. He plays that ball forward. John Dean will cut it out. He does. On as far as Bennett. Bennett chips it forward, and as far as Bruce, and Bruce takes it. And cleared away by Van Wyk into no man's land. Daniel scampers back. The referee again checks his watch. Again, a long look. Goes through his back pocket. Plays that ball. Sunderland in possession. Comes forward, and the referee indicates a free kick. A lot of the fans thinking that's a final whistle. It isn't.
It's a little bit of an anticlimax there. Some nice showmanship from Mr. Midgley. Everybody anticipating the final whistle. Very calmly says the game's still on. That's a free kick to Sunderland.
Ken Brown worried about this free kick. He's on the bench looking anxiously as the ball played inside to Venison. Venison going to have to chip this one. He does. Up to the head of Watson. He gets the header in, but it's only as far as... Oh, a miss there, but cleared away at the last minute by Steve Bruce. Who else? The referee again looks at his watch.
The sort of fun and games you don't want in the last seconds of a cup final when you're 1-0 up.
I wonder what Brownie and Ballard are through this moment in time. I bet they think, blow that bloody whistle, for goodness sake.
It's going to be a throw then, this a long one. The ball comes high in, up to the hedge, it's headed down, it comes to Donovan, and in fact the final whistle goes. Norwich City have won the 1985 Milk Cup final by 1-0, and look at the crowd away to my right. The Norwich fans absolutely delirious. On comes the Norwich manager being congratulated on the bench, and the John Devine being hugged by Peter Mendham, and the Norwich players absolutely delighted with that. Superb win for Norwich City. They've done it at last. It took them 3 attempts, but finally they've done it.
The ghosts of 1973, 1975 have been exorcised at Wembley on a March Sunday afternoon. Norwich City have lifted the Milk Cup.
A Wembley triumph at last. And what moments to savour with a proud march up those 39 steps to complete a football dream.
And here comes David Watson, the Norwich City captain, to receive that cup. Just listen to the roar as he makes his way up the steps here at Wembley to receive the Milk Cup for 1985. As the last of the Sunderland players just receiving their medal. There's Clive Walker, the man who missed the penalty. That was so important, but it was not to be, as the Sunderland fans still giving their players quite a lot of support. And here comes Dave Watson now, leading the team up to receive that cup. And probably a lot will say that they did so well to reach this final end to win it. And there are the congratulations coming in from Sir Stanley Rouse, as he says, well done to Dave Watson. He gets his medals first, and here comes the cup now, and just wait for the roar as he holds that cup up aloft.
Here comes the moment.
This is it. He turns, and there it is.
And the party continued all the way up the A11. Sunday celebrations decked out in yellow and green. Well, it must have been a sad trek home for the Sunderland supporters, but how they won Norfolk hearts with their brave smiles and friendly gestures through the tears of defeat. Just over 24 hours later, Canary festivities were still in full swing as the returning heroes set out on their victory lap of honour around the city. A civic welcome was waiting at the City Hall, but first it was time for the fans and players to salute each other on that unforgettable Monday evening when rain could do nothing to dampen Canary spirits.
Well, there's still the crowds. We now come up to the Pumpstead Road roundabout, and enormous crowds, in fact, as all the traffic has stopped, and all the yellow and green is being waved, the banners, the scarves, and the rosettes being worn, young children, the hooters being hooted, and all the people coming out of shops and premises, and enormous crowds. Just listen to the noise. As we make our way along, still coming past the fire station, and what a lovely sight. All the fire engines are outside with the blue lights flashing away, and all the firemen there as well. That's beautiful, Keith.
Here comes the siren, Roy. What a magnificent sight. The beautiful multicoloured canopies of the market stalls, the light floating down from the City Hall tower. It's marvellous. Bring it in.
Big banner saying, "Well done, City," hanging from the top of one of the premises there. Enormous crowds at City Hall. They really are packed, and the bus is going to have to slow down completely for these.
I think you can see why they ran out of souvenirs. The number of hats and scarves and banners that are here. Many of them, of course, brought home from Wembley in triumph yesterday.
The balcony, we can see where the players will be talking from, is under floodlights, and well, enormous crowd. Wembley 85, Norwich City, a big Union Jack. They're standing on top of the market stalls themselves. Very precarious position.
I think they're just about safe because youngsters here, you know, will be able to tell succeeding generations of the night Norwich brought the cup home from Wembley for the first time. We hope it's the first time because I don't think anyone would mind to see this all over again at some future date.
The noise absolutely unbelievable because they're all on top of the market stalls. The Barclay Choir here as well somewhere as the songs ring out. You can probably hear them. Walk on, walk on.
And even Sir Peter Mancroft, beautifully lit just beyond the City Hall, seems to be casting a friendly, forgiving eye on all this raucous behaviour.
Yes, indeed, and even people on top of the church just over there, Keith.
Right,
as we come to the steps of the City Hall. Still the rain coming down, but I don't think anybody noticed that at all. As Ken Brown acknowledging the... You can probably hear them. Listen to this.
See much like that again. Look at them. Brilliant. Oh.
Ken Brown beams and sums it all up. Brilliant. And that went for the supporters of both teams as much as for the players of Norwich City as they revelled in the success of March 1985 and golden memories of the friendly cup final.
Memories of the 1985 Milk Cup final. As it was broadcast here on BBC Radio Norfolk, Norwich beating Sunderland 1-0 to take the trophy. And Roy Waller, Keith Skipper and John Bond, that was our team at Wembley on the day. And they enjoyed the celebrations afterwards right into the following day, as you heard there. Terrific stuff.